Hello, everyone. We're apparently live.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, hello, Scriff.
We didn't really get any warning.
No, I don't know how long we were sitting here for. Are we live? Thanks, Scriff.
This cable is so short. How am I? I'm meant to like sit like this the entire time. No, I'm not. I'm not wearing these. Okay.
You need to speak to the mic, Andy.
Well, I am speaking to the mic.
Scriff's not happy.
I do what I want when I want, Scriff. Remember that.
When do you want Scriff?
All the time.
All the time.
Have you seen him? Guy's like a dreamboat. Alright, anyway, we are here to cast the TI5 Open Qualifiers.
Yeah.
We're in semifinal number 1. There is another semifinal being played right now between Yellow Submarine and a team whose name escapes me at the moment.
ASTN, I believe.
ATN.
ATN.
Yeah, but I don't know what that acronym actually stands for. However, we are here to cast pub players versus ScaryFaceZ, and it's game number 2.
It is, and pub players for the first game.
Yes.
And I think it wasn't that quick, that long of a one. I think it was...
It was like 25, 30 minutes. Because I remember sitting in my room and then Shane going, "It's over." I was like, "Wait, what?" Or actually, I think you came to get me.
I came. Yeah. That was. Did I sound Irish when I?
No.
No.
I think Shane said something and then you talked to me afterwards, and I don't know how I confused you because British people and Irish sound nothing alike.
No.
So yeah. Anyway, we should hop into the draft.
Yeah, let's get into the draft. Scriff, what do we got?
Done. Well played. Well played. We're seeing some Coddle here. I'm guessing after EG with Owie's like 12-minute agonyms or whatever it was, jungle Coddle game, people decided that Coddle was decent and they wanted to start picking it. I mean, that's how Dota works. Like, somebody does something different, it works really well, and then everyone's like, we should totally do this.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how quickly it has spiked after, the few of the big guys have been picking him up. And, I mean, do you think, for the right reason, do you think Coddle is pretty damn strong at the moment?
Yeah, I think Mana Leak is ridiculously underused. I think with this patch, having a hero who can drag anyone to a team fight, and like the amount of fighting that goes on in this patch, like just having Chakra, the ability to keep people with enough mana to just continue fighting at any point is always very good. And his late game potential is also amazing. Like if you get Aghanim's, it's like having Night Stalker's ultimate, but during the day.
Yes.
I mean, just having that vision is nuts in of itself. And between the two heroes that I have on our team already, like Witch Doctor, with you having Voodoo Restoration, like you Chakra on top of that, you have good sustain to be able to push. You have good D-push already, just because of Illuminate and Queen, and your fighting potential also is not going to be too bad. So, all in all, I think it's a pretty strong lineup, but it is pretty weak to getting ganked. Like Coddle and Witch Doctor are very squishy by nature, so you can easily pick a team that can rotate and kill them quite easy.
Yeah, and well, now with the third pick for the side of ScaryFaceZ, I mean, Beastmaster AA, it is definitely one of those wombo combos which hit the 6 with the old Roar into Ice Blaster. I mean, in the moment, Queen of Pain, Coddle, Witch Doctor, you're going to have a pretty good job at blowing up any of those. Rubik's going to be the hero of choice, and I guess with a quad, Witch Doctor, and arguably the Coddle as well, there's a fair few spells that are going to be pretty nice to nab in this one.
Being able to steal Blink is amazing. Death Ward's an easy steal as well. Owen, you're on camera.
Just so
I'm
just going to close this.
You just wanted to tab out. He just, Scriff just sits there and like throws his arms up in the air. He's like, what the hell is Owen doing?
That was good timing, because obviously we're on a delay.
Damn it,
don't
Owen.
worry. Anyway.
You had one job.
Well, actually, I've got more than one job, Andy.
What's your other job?
Don't know.
You're going to think of it soon.
No. Yeah, I don't, I'm afraid.
My God.
But Andy, anyway, the bans as well. I mean, you're banning out Brood on the side of pub players, and they get rid of the Night Stalker as well. And then you ban the PL from ScaryFaceZ. Timberstore has also been banned out. I think it was indeed pub players. Yes, I remember in the last game, Massacre had the Timberstore, who was very, very good on it. So a little bit of a respect ban, but they're going to grab themselves the Darks here for the offlane. I mean, I guess with the AoE from Queen of Pain, you've got a bit of a wombo combo effect, and I still kind of feel that they need like a heavy stunner. They need someone that's going to be able to capitalize on the vacuum to then hold them in place and then go for the team fights. But obviously they do still need that position 1, and is there anyone that comes to mind that could be nice in this kind of lineup?
Void's actually really sick with
Void would be good.
Pub players lineup, yeah. I mean, you vacuum into Sphere, you have Death Ward on top of that. Queen is all range damage, good AoE. Keeper of the Light can illuminate inside of the Sphere as well. There's a lot of really good synergy between that, but I feel like ScaryFaceZ, they do have Luna, so it's a very, very strong tri-lane if they decided to go aggro with it, even with Luna not being the best range hero, because you have Chilling Touch, you also have Lunar Blessing, So your auto attacks are going to be hitting extremely hard. And if you pick a melee farmer at this point, I think ScaryFaceZ might just be able to punish you by going aggro with it. So it's kind of tough to just pick the melee core into this straight away, just because of ScaryFaceZ's potential to actually run that aggressive lane. And I think they also need their
aggressive
mid.
try. Yes, well, for ScaryFaceZ, I mean, I guess they could put the Beastmaster mid.
Yeah, but I mean, they need another 1v1 hero at the very least.
Yeah. I mean, so they almost certainly, if they're going to go aggressive and pub players, they don't react to it by dodging it, they need someone that's going to be able to farm up against the Darkseer. So in a solo lane situation, if it does end up on a 1v1, who do you kind of look to pick against the Darkseer to kind of stop him getting what he's going to be looking for? Which is hard, because Darkseer being Darkseer, he's always going to find something from the lane. Yeah,
I mean, against Darkseer, Axe is always really nice. But I think they want something that controls more team fights. So I think maybe Tidehunter could also be on the table for them. Like, if that's the matchup they're looking for, to put Darkseer versus another hero, Tide is good, because Tide can infinitely tank the creep wave.
Yes.
Even with Ion Shell, it doesn't really deal that much damage. Like, it's manageable. And Axe kind of functions in the same role, but Axe doesn't have the same kind of influence over a team fight, I think, that a Tide Ravage does. And when your whole purpose is to walk up to a tower and just hit it, I think that a Tide would offer you a lot more, because then pub players all of a sudden have to be like, well, I don't really want to go near Tide because it's very dangerous for us. And if we get Ravaged, there's also Ice Blast, there's Roar, there's Eclipse. Like, there's a lot of things that synergize well with it. Heck, even if we see Luna going for Aghanims, any kind of blink stunning hero would be good. Like, if it was Axe or Tide, you could just put the ulti on it and then you just go ham. So pub players, they're going with a Spectre. It's interesting.
Okay.
I still think Void would have worked very well, but I can see why they want Spectre here too. Rubik, AA, not really any escape mechanism. Beastmaster's kind of the same. So if the Spectre gets to Radiance at any point, all of a sudden the Rubik and the AA are just like food, right? Like, you ulti and then they're dead.
Just die.
Or if the Queen like jumps on them and then you use Haunt on top of that, they could very easily just explode, and then pub players can gain their map control that way.
Okay, now with the final pick from the side of ScaryFaceZ. Now, they do still need that solo laner, definitely. And I mean, if you are...
What is funny? Basically, you have Twitch chat open on your phone. That's why you're laughing.
They could hear that sound, but production couldn't, so they didn't realize that the stream was going on with this sound on. But I've turned it off now, so we're good.
Well done. Owen once again has made everyone in the house.
We won, boys. We did it.
Reddit army. Johnny is not pleased. Takes a lot to make Johnny upset. You know?
Johnny, I'm sorry.
He can. You don't have to yell. It's a microphone. I don't know how many times I've had to tell you this.
Johnny. Anyway, Draskyl, final pick. It's going to be a Phoenix, and
okay.
I mean, I guess not necessarily great against the Darkseer, but what I'd imagine is their I don't know. I mean, with a Spectre, can pub players go aggressive? Can they afford to dodge the lane like that, or do they need to have the Spectre in the safe, really, for it to be effective?
I think it's Spectre farms at all costs.
Okay.
I think that's the kind of lineup that they have. With the Phoenix on the other team, it's okay. I guess it's just the kind of style that you want to play. Like, I thought with ScaryFaceZ having the Luna and the Beastmaster together that they might want to consider pushing early, in which case having like Axe or Tide could add a lot to your early game aggression. Not that Phoenix can't, but it's a different functionality. So instead of being able to go in and taunt or go in and ravage and force kills, Phoenix is very good at zoning. So you have Ancient Apparition, then you have a very long range nuke and Lucent Beam, and you have Phoenix as well. So they're going to just try to zone, I think, pub players off of towers when they're going for that 5-man push, if that's what they decide to do early on. But they are going to go aggressive with their Luna tri-lane. Damn it, Owen, I need you to focus up here, man.
I'm just reading Twitch and
just put the phone face down on the desk.
I'm closing the chat. I can't read your reactions to me playing heavy breathing noises anymore. Right, anyway, so as you were saying, yeah, they've got the potential to be aggressive at SFC, and I mean, obviously drafting a Spectre against that, is it not a little bit ballsy in the sense that you're kind of saying with that pick, we're not scared about the early game, you can try and push, but we're still going to find farm in our position 1, and we're going to hit you back hard, Johnny, in the late game. I mean, they've got to get somewhere for the Spectre. Otherwise, the Spectre is going to be pretty much a non-factor in these kind of early game engagements.
Yeah, it can very easily become a liability, but that's why ScaryFaceZ is going aggro. It's the same reason why we talked about the Void pick, and after seeing the Void, that the enemy team would just automatically assume it was going to be safe lane to try to give the melee farmer the best situation possible. But pub players, they're going to completely dodge, which is the right call. You do not want to put a Spectre Tri-Lane versus an Ancient Apparition with a Lunar Blessing on top of that. Like, you hit so hard at level 1.
And, I mean, I guess they are 3 ranged heroes. Obviously, the range of Luna not that fantastic, but the amount of damage she does means that they should be able to deal with the Darkseer's Iron Shell spam, surely, in this lane. I mean, killing him might be another issue, but I don't know, to be fair. If they find a telekinesis into Cold Feet, Darkseer's got to be fairly careful against this Tri-Lane, and it'll be interesting to see if SFC decide to react, obviously, the placement of the lanes of Pub, and it certainly looks like they will. They're sending AA down here to join the Phoenix, and, I mean, do you think they'll do the complete swap here, or they'll keep it at dual lanes?
Well, they could be content with the fact that Luna would be farming here no matter what, and they are going to send another person down. They could eventually do a full rotation, I guess. They're going to leave the Luna for last, and the Phoenix does buy a TP, so it looks like they're just going to go for the total switch-up. And that pretty much means that pub player either have to move their Spectre lane again, or they're just going to be stuck in a situation where it's like 10 times worse than just being in their own safe lane versus an aggro tri-lane.
I mean, I think they've got to move the Spectre, because you are just not farming against this, and they realize that they're off straight.
It's going to be one of those musical lane games.
It really is. I mean, well, in comes the Darkseer. We'll be able to get the Surge off. Gets fairly low. Illuminate. Oh, it clips Rubik, and that's going to be First Blood. So, well, Pub coming out on top there, finding First Blood against the Rubik. Just caught slightly out of position, and the spells that needed to connect certainly do. And well, Pub, they're going to be happy with that, and they've got the Spectre back against the solo laner. But I mean, even in that sense, it's not like the Phoenix is going to have no capability of shutting the Spectre down. I mean, if you're a melee farmer against the Phoenix, it's still not a nice lane.
No, definitely not. I mean, it's going to be a little bit easier for him, I think, than going up against the full aggressive tri-lane with the Aid and the Luna and the Rubik. But, I mean, getting even First Blood out of that whole fiasco of changing lanes like 2 times is better than I expected for them, at least in the early lanes. But we've talked a lot about the tri-lanes. We can kind of go over the middle lane matchup here. The Beastmaster versus the Queen. Obviously, Queen's going to have a bit of an advantage.
Oh, look. This is a bit of a rotation and a half. They will be able to find SFZ here. And Pub, well, they're reacting to the lanes of the side of SFC very nicely, and certainly coming out on top here in the laning stage. And CS-wise, fairly even across the board, but obviously mid lane, Quop's got that lead, and Darkseer, he's starting to find the farm, and it's certainly not going to slow down anytime soon here for the side of PUB.
As long as they continue to get the Spectre some farm, and the Queen is having a good game, I think their plan is pretty much already in motion. Yeah. Like, they only really need Swift Ending, I guess that's his name? Yeah, Swift Ending to get the farm. And then once he gets up his Radiance, their teamfight potential is pretty insane. Like Queen damage, Vacuum, Illuminate, Witch Doctor with the heal, and then you also have Chakra Magic to just continue your push. The nice thing about ScaryFaceZ's lineup is they will have Ancient Apparition for being able to stop pushes in their tracks, just throw out a good Ice Blast, and the push can pretty much just be over at that point. And you throw on like a set of Axes or a couple of Fire Spirits, and I think they might be able to push pub players back. However, I don't know if delaying the game is really in favor of ScaryFaceZ.
No, not against the Spectre, surely.
Yeah, the Spectre is really the biggest problem. Like, if they don't really make a whole lot happen early, I think it's going to be really tough for them to take it to the ultra late game.
I mean, I see bottom lane, Masakari just getting himself away with a Surge. I mean, he's got a Soul Ring, but of course on top of that he has got the Chakra Magic coming out from Emperor 606. This is, yeah, and rightfully so, he's second, well, equal top on the amount of CS. This Darkseer, he's going to find a very good timing on his item progressions, and he's going to have the mech very early if that so is the item of choice. And once they've got the mech, and with the heroes like the Queen of Pain, they can look for action and look for fights that aren't going to require the Spectre, albeit maybe the occasional Haunt in, which Spectre will obviously be looking to get the involvement in regards to XP and gold gain. It feels like a very solid draft from PUB, and SFC, you know, they may want to shut the lanes down earlier with the tri-lane that they did pick. It's just not happening. And mid lane Beastmaster will just be able to tango up as a Poison Dagger does tick him very, very low, and Quop continuing to maintain a pretty firm grasp on the mid lane.
That's no real surprise. It's not like the Beastmaster is farming poorly or anything. It's just that you take so much harass damage just from being a melee hero, and there being a level 2 dagger here. See some bottle abusing as well. Typical mid players, just always using the bottle. But I don't know. I'm really kind of uncomfortable for ScaryFaceZ.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
The Iron Shell creeps were just following her, and the Illuminate finishes her off.
The funny thing about that is at nighttime, usually Kato would have the advantage because most heroes don't have full night vision, and Beastmaster's going to die again.
This is not great for SFZ, Draskyl.
This is a total disaster. This isn't even, like, it's not about being great or even okay. This is a total catastrophe.
Right, look at this bottom lane. He's just going to run him down. I think he gets a kill here. Illuminate flies through. Oh, it won't be enough to finish him off.
He's going to die for that.
He pays with it.
Alright, so they get a kill on the board, but still, I mean, this laning phase has been completely awful. Scriff, I don't know what you want from me.
Scriff, the sound man.
I'm talking into the microphone.
What?
What? What do you...
What?
The distance between me and Owen is like the same. Well, now it is.
It's just perspective, Scriff.
Whatever.
Thanks, Scriff.
Either way.
Keep up the good work, mate. We might feed you tonight.
He already ate. He's fine.
4 for 1 at the moment, indeed. And let's have a look at the... I know it's very early days, but just look at the difference. Okay, yeah, it doesn't show anything at all, really. It's, yeah, there's nothing that massive, but... I don't know, Pub will feel very happy going into this one. Obviously, as we said at the beginning, it's the second game in the best of 3. Pub did already take the first game against ScaryFaceZ, and just it kind of feels like with this draft, ScaryFaceZ, they do kind of rely on having a good start, because if this Luna gets behind a Spectre, it's going to be hard for her to catch up once the fights start kicking off.
Not only that, but the Queen also having a very nice start. Like 2 kills already, second highest CS in the game.
Absolutely.
It's not to say that ScaryFaceZ don't have a good mid game, because their team is very strong mid game. It's just typically when you have these types of lineups, you want to make sure your laning phase doesn't go this badly. Like getting first blooded by a Coddle.
Oh, I like this. He's TP down to the bottom lane straight away. He's got
Spectre
a
has Haunt as well. They can definitely dive this.
Yeah, this is a double kill if it's there ever was one. Luna tries to run away, but the Haunt comes through. Given the vision, the Illuminate won't actually catch, but it doesn't matter. Darkseer's found one, and they're almost certainly going to find 2 as well as Rubik trapped in the tree line. Will turn around with a Fate Bolt. He's not going to be able to do anything in return, and the killing spree for the Quap. And also, you know, the big thing to note as well is the fact that Spectre was able to get a little bit of involvement into that action.
Yeah, it's 2 assists. He was down there for the experience and the gold. Going to get some free damage on the tier 1. And I mean, the Phoenix is level 7, and that's great, but he's not really able to contribute to that kind of dive. Like when they commit 5 heroes, it's like, okay, well, I can TP, but unless I land Fire Spirits on everyone, which is pretty difficult to do considering how spread they were, you're not going to be able to get a good Supernova off in that situation. So looks like the Spectre is just going to go back top, continue his farm. And again, the Phoenix is nearby, but I don't think he's going to be able to make much happen here. And he's even skilling his dive over Fire Spirits. Interesting.
He's going to dive forward, and actually, well, he's going for the kill here with the ultimate.
Oh, he actually has this. He's dead.
Yeah, nice play here from the Phoenix. Will get away with his life intact as well. Ramses, knowing the limits of this hero, and finds himself a kill. Looking a little bit deeper for more. There's going to be TPs coming into the tier 2. Kotl has arrived. And the juice will be had from Ramses. It's going to be the man leak down onto him. He'll just stand still and TP away, but the paralyzing cast cancels it. He might pick up the Witch Doctor on the way down here. He's looking for the Witch Doctor. He hasn't got any points in the Voodoo Restoration. It doesn't matter, as the Witch Doctor will be okay. Ramses, will he be? He's got Maledict on him. It is level 2. He's tried to deny it. He does it. Draskyl. That was a beautiful bit of play there from Phoenix.
Thank God somebody on this team is making plays, because the rest of them are definitely not doing it. There is Invis here on this Queen, though. Bottom lane. Sitting behind the tower here. How long on Haunt? 15 seconds?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think he's just waiting for the Ion Shell to push in the wave, then they're going to go for a dive.
Absolutely, yeah. They're waiting for the push and, of course, the...
Oh, no, the Darkseer TP'd away.
Oh, Kotl is dead. And, well, they've got the Haunt and the Sonic Wave, and I think that's all they need, Draskyl. There you go, Sonic Wave, and they don't even use the Haunt. They just let the Quap get himself a solo kill there. Now the Haunt comes in. Now they look to try and find Eknat as well. The dagger flies through. She's got the Scream as well. Will pop it. Double kill here for Pub. And even though they did lose Kotl, a few seconds earlier, that's again a lot of favourable advances they're going for the side of Pub.
And they also took out the Darkseer on top of that, but not quite able to get him. I think they might be able to get this tier 1. Rubik's going to be up soon, and the Luna's already alive. Yeah, they're going to TP. Supernova's still on cooldown, though. Did he actually land the Fire Spirit there? Yeah, he did. Oh, he's dead. No, 15 HP. So close. The Tread Switch, too strong.
What a player, what a pro. 9-3 between these two sides. And how is Darkseer doing in terms of farm? He's closing in on his mech. This is going to be pretty much the 10-minute mechanism on Darkseer. And it's what we expect from Darkseer if they're having an okay game. But still, it's nothing less than impressive. And something that SFC will have to be very wary about when Pub look to continue into the next fight.
I'm just kind of wondering, like, this Luna is supposed to be some kind of early game pushing mechanism, right? Like, you get some points into Lunar Blessing, you get a point or two into Inner Beast once the Beastmaster has his maxed out Hawk, and then you just try to go fight and push towers. And it looks like the first real gank they're going to try to do is going to be on a Coddle in top lane. I mean, they're using a smoke for this.
They're using the Roar as well. They're throwing everything down. They will secure themselves the kill, but it just begs the question, is that the best use of their time and their resources at this point when you've got a lot of heroes on the side of Pub becoming very, very scary?
Yeah, middle lane here.
Ramses does have the Supernova, will pop it with the Telekinesis holding the Quap nearby. It's not going to be enough to keep her in range of the stun from the Supernova, and we'll get herself back out. She's going to be okay for the time being.
It's really nice that this AA still managed to get level 6 at a decent timing. That was the biggest worry, is when you're losing your lanes really hard as this lineup and you have an Ancient Apparition, the Ice Blast is kind of your way to kind of slow the aggression of the enemy team, or at the very least allow yourselves to fight back, because between AA having that ultimate out and the Phoenix damage, if you land a couple of well-placed Fire Spirits on top of an Ice Blast, you can just kill heroes. Like, mech or not, you'll probably end up going down. We can see this ward here by the tier 1 scouting out Quista over here on his Luna, but I still think that Pub players have a pretty big advantage at the moment. 1 or 2 good engagements, I think probably ScaryFaceZ bring themselves back in, but their lineup is still meant to function better at this stage, I think. It's just that Pub players have been playing a little bit better.
And indeed it's relevant in the net worths as well at the moment. We can see both Darkseer and Queen of Pain at the top. Spectre, the farm hasn't been incredible, but at the same time, he hasn't been shut down. He's only died once so far this game. He is working towards picking up a pair of drums on top of the phase boot, so rather than going for that straight naked Radiance rush, looking to be a little bit more active in the fights that the side of Pub will look for, and they'll certainly be looking for those with heroes such as the Quappen, and now with the mechanism complete on Darkseer, they'll be looking for a little bit of action.
He actually used the Haunt there as well. I think he was expecting maybe more people ganking him than were there in reality when the Phoenix dove on him top. But no Haunt. It's a little nice for ScaryFaceZ not to have to worry about the Spectre being at a team fight. Maxed out Dagger and level 2 Desolate still hit fairly hard, especially when you already have phase boost on top of that. It seems like the aggression has slowed a little bit, but you can see the aggressive warding from Pub players. They want to just continue to apply this pressure. They don't want to let ScaryFaceZ get map control back, because a Beastmaster with a Ice Blast can kill pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what hero it is, so I like the fact that they understand it's like taking away the map control and making more space for the Spectre is always priority number 1.
Spectre, at the moment, will have to back herself back to base. It's fairly low in the lane, and it's not a situation where you want to find yourself in when you are playing up against an AA, of course. Beastmaster, state 21, closing in on his Necro book. Very close to picking up the recipe for himself. And Cole, how's he doing? Well, he's found himself level 7. It's not a Owie 2000 level of Keeper of the Light, but it's not going too bad for the old fella. Still 9 for 4, favouring the side of Pub. And Phoenix now on top of the... Oh, it's going to go in on this one. There's going to be a lot of TPs. This Witch Doctor getting low, and still no points of Vita Restoration. Will manage to get out of the burn. Masquerade TPing in, takes a stun to the face, and then will back off. Ice Blast is flying through, and oh no, Witch Doctor! Oh, I think he's dead here. It is only level 1, but that should be
It's going to be close,
enough.
actually. He might die. It's going to be so close. Oh, he needed one more tick.
One more tick, yeah.
Yeah, and he would have died.
It's, I mean, why would you go for this build? What's the idea here? Witch Doctor not pinning any points of restoration, going full aggressive.
It could be because he's playing against Ancient Apparition.
Yeah.
I
guess
mean,
that
that's
makes
the first
sense,
thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Maledict is also very good in terms of just being able to secure kills. So say, for instance, you get a Maledict on one hero and the Queen bursts that hero, all of a sudden you don't even have to worry about committing anymore. The damage will just eventually tick him out, or they'll have to TP back. I mean, those are pretty much the choices that you have. And plus, you're going to have Radiance burn eventually on top of that. Now, I'm not sure if that matters so much, just because by the time you have Radiance out, you probably have points in the Voodoo Restoration anyway.
Okay.
Because it's quite a bit later into the game. But the synergy between the two is still strong. So I think this is more of a aggressive build than anything else.
Well, we'll see Luna picking up herself the Morbid Mask, and
there's 4 heroes top. They really, really want the Spectre, but there's a lane ward down, so not sure how successful this is going to be.
Spectre has indeed got the Haunt back up for this defense if the side of SFC do decide to force a fight.
Oh, he sniped the bird with the Illuminate. Nice. He didn't even know it was there. What a player.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, SFZ, they're just keeping everybody up here. I don't know if they're scared of some kind of aggression. They do have a smoke available, and they will pop it. And looks like they will indeed try and go for something here. State 21 has the Prime Aurora available. And they're going to actually rotate towards the mid lane. And at the same time, Witch Doctor and Darkseer for the side of Pub. They're coming in close and personal, looking for Luna. Luna's just going to hide herself, and SFC pops the Hawk out. Now they'll look to go see if they can catch anyone out here. But Massacre is surging himself away. Witch Doctor's already out of the jungle, and Quap should be able to blink away as well. Unless she's caught out here. Needs to be careful here, the Quap. He's going to be able to get himself over to the other side of the river. Looks like he will get himself out. And there is another surge available, and yeah, he pops it straight away. Doesn't want to be too greedy here, and will indeed get himself out and away. So, all in all, a fair bit of time being wasted there for ScaryFaceZ.
Yeah, they're walking around, but it's not really, I think, a waste of time for them to make sure that they have their jungle, because otherwise the Luna's not able to fully maximize her farm. Like right now, she's like thinking about going to Ancients, maybe going to get the top rune, but otherwise it's like...
Oh, top lane. We're going to see another big supernova coming in. It was on top of the Coastal. Coastal TP's out. Massacre TP's in. Ice Blast will come through. Will it connect onto the Darks here? It will indeed, and he has got the Fire Spirit just on him, but it is still just a level 1 Ice Blast, and again, it's going to be close, but not quite close enough. He's going to be fine.
0 for 2. I mean, he's landed the Ice Blast, which is great, but it just goes to show between one hero nuking and an Ice Blast, they can almost kill a hero from 100% life. Like, that's the kind of deep push power that an Ancient Apparition gives you. So that's one of the biggest strengths of ScaryFaceZ's team, is their ability to deal damage without necessarily needing a lot of lockdown. I mean, that was no Roar, there was no Telekinesis there, that was just Ice Blast and the Phoenix getting a dive and a couple of Fire Spirits, or I think it was Supernova and a Fire Spirit. So everything considered, I think they're in an okay position. They're still farming faster on the Luna than they are on the Spectre. I just think Spectre's impact, if he can get to Radiance, will be much, much bigger. But that's still quite a ways away.
Yeah, and as we can see, Luna Quista looking to pick up that Yasha on top of the Mars. So definitely not looking to fight for the time being. Looking to prioritize that farming build. And, well, Pub, they know this. They smell something funny, and they're going to go for it. They're smoked up into the Radiant jungle, seeing if they can find this Luna. They know she's been off the map for a fair bit. The ping's coming out as Witch Doctor leads the way towards the mid lane. There are 4 heroes on the side of SFC here, so they've got to think very carefully if they want to try and force a fight. They do, of course, have 5 effectively on Pub because the Horn is available and off cooldown. Just playing it carefully as well. Beastmaster and Phoenix head up to the high ground. Pop down the blinding light, trying to knock them back, and all goes forward. But there's your vacuum, cancelling the dive and bringing the wall down. The Paint will find the kill onto the Phoenix. Lucerbeam did finish off Darkseer. And well, now Spectre haunts in onto the Luna, but with the Eclipse, a lot of damage coming out, but it's actually going to be able to find the Queen of Pain. He gets himself too close. They'll also finish off the Kotal, and now Spectre's the only one left here. Will be able to dagger himself over to the other side of the river. A Beastmaster trying to chase this down, of course, hasn't got a blink yet. Looks like the Spectre will be lucky enough to escape. Ice Blast is going to be available in 10 seconds. Hasn't got the mana to do so, and okay, Spectre's going to be able to get away there, but all things said and done, not a good fight there for Pub.
Yeah, their damage really wasn't that focused. Like, they needed Illuminate and Queen Burst on one hero, pretty much, to be able to kill it, because the Luna ate, I think, a Sonic Wave, but that was really the only burst because the Queen used the Scream to finish off the Phoenix, who did not have Supernova at the time. So Ramsey's no ulti, he drops, not really that big of a deal. And then they just walk into an Eclipse, and all of a sudden their heroes are dead. Now, the wall placement was pretty nice from the Darkseer, but still, the positioning of ScaryFaceZ was a little bit too good. All of a sudden, it seems like ScaryFaceZ are pretty much totally back in the game. It only takes like 1 or 2 fights nowadays to kind of recover a bad laning phase. And I feel like if they get one more, they might be a bit advantaged here. And the Spectre still isn't really farming at all. Like, sure, 76 CS at 19 minutes, but he's got a death and he only has 3 assists. Like, he hasn't really been fighting a whole lot, even though he has a fighting build. He's only been involved with 3 out of his team's 10 kills. And he's not going to have Haunt either if they decide to go on bottom lane.
Which they certainly seem to seriously be thinking about, as both the Queen of Pain and the Darkseer lead themselves in. Then will back out. And they'll be happy with just getting a little bit of damage done to this tier 2 and looking to keep themselves safe. Spectre, we're seeing on about 1k gold now. I mean, with these braces, do you, if you're going for this build, do you pretty much always finish off the drums, or do you feel now Spectre might look to save up for those bigger items?
Nah, he can't go drums right now. No. I don't think. I think he needs Radiance, like 100%. Having a casual bracer isn't even that bad.
Okay.
Like 6 strength and the Agian damage. Like you get 6 damage, 6 strength. It's a decent amount of health. You already have max Desolate, you have max Dagger. Your fighting potential is already good enough, especially having invested money to even buy an Aquila, which I'm not sure is even 100% necessary on the hero. It just shows that they wanted to play a more aggressive early game because of his items, but now I think it's time to just save for the Relic. Like there's no way that buying drums is going to be that useful for him anymore.
We're going to see the side of SFC smoked up, looking for a gank. They, of course, do have the Primal Roar and Ice Blast available, and Unipay needs to be careful. They should have the burst damage, and with the Telekinesis hold, that's going to be enough to kill off those Quap, and well, they're going to lead him with the Telekinesis. They are able to get themselves very close and personal, and oh yeah, it's more than enough damage to blow up Paint J as he just evaporates there to that rotation from SFC.
A really nice movement, getting the Queen off the board. Probably the most impactful hero at this stage in the game. Almost had Aghanims too. It was only like, I guess, 400 or 500 gold away, I would imagine. Not including the money that he lost through his death. And Luna finds a solo kill on the Witch Doctor in bottom lane too. So all of a sudden, ScaryFaceZ is seeming to be in a pretty good position here in the game.
Indeed, yeah, the fact that they're finding this much on the Luna, and Luna indeed is top of the net worth, coming up to 8,000 gold, which is closing in on 2k on top of this Spectre. And Ice Blast will connect onto the Spectre, and with the burn damage here, you're going to have to TP out, but it's just still going to shatter. And that is going to be a very tasty pick-off for SFZ, and I think even though we had a favourable early game for Pub, and it kind of evened out, the fact that their 2 position ones are having so much of a different game. You've got Luna, who's finding the farm, and Spectre really isn't doing that much for the side of Pub. He has got 2,000 gold, and maybe it'll be a much different story when he gets that Radiance, but it really is a question of when does he get that Radiance at this rate.
Yeah, he 2,000 gold at 20 minutes. Like, this is going to be a 30-minute Radiance, minimum. They need a really big fight to happen, or he needs to just get complete free farm to be able to make a faster Radiance timing than that. And I don't really think they're going to be getting the team fight. Their laning phase was like a gift. For whatever reason, ScaryFaceZ just didn't really seem to be in a position to defend any of the early game aggression. So when they started taking other fights, like smoking up, going for ganks, ScaryFaceZ's coordination was just on a bit of another level, I think, than Pub's. And even that fight in the woods, I think that was the big turning point when they dropped the wall. They threw the ulti onto the Luna, but didn't manage to kill. The Eclipse ends up taking out the Queen. Then the Queen dies again to a gank. Like, the momentum of this hero is completely thwarted by that. Like, he doesn't even have Aghanims finished. Like, he doesn't have a single item finished at 23 minutes as a mid. I mean, that's really problematic when this is the hero that's supposed to be your high impact until your Spectre Radiance comes out. So, still, I mean, once they get the Radiance, it'll be nice for them. But the Rubik is even maxing Null Field in advance. Like, you don't often see a Rubik forego points in a Telekinesis just to get Null Field, but he realizes the importance of it against the Queen, against the Radiance coming out, the Ion Shell damage, of course, from the Darkseer. But I don't know, man. It's still a very close game.
Yeah, it really is, and a couple of big items do indeed come out. It is finally the Aghanims complete for Quap, and also Manta Star now completed on Luna. So the pushing power, well, if it wasn't there already for the side of SFC, it certainly is now. And yeah, I mean, on top of the Beastmaster and with the Necro books, they've already been able to take the Tier 1, Tier 2 in the mid lane, Tier 1 from the bottom, and now they're going to look to try and wipe the Tier 1 on the top lane off the face of the map. Fortification will come out, but I don't think there's any way that Pub can even dream of defending this, as they're all hanging around the mid lane for this point in time. And they do need to keep the Spectre. I mean, it is getting to that point where if the Spectre dies once, maybe twice, they're going to be in such a bad position if he loses any gold now.
Yeah, I think they're already in kind of a bad spot. ScaryFaceZ's lineup was always better in the mid game. Like, their mid game potential is nuts. You got Beastmaster, you have AA Ice Blast, you got Phoenix, who even went Midas. Like, this Phoenix has more net worth than the safe lane Spectre. Like, he's 3rd highest net worth in the game.
Yeah.
And then the next 3 highest, as the top 3 until a second ago were pretty much all on ScaryFaceZ, were all the members of Pub, so the Queen, the Darkseer, and the Spectre. I just feel they had a really good lead. Maybe Pub players were a little bit too aggressive with how they wanted to pursue the fights. Like, sitting in the enemy jungle and just trying to fight non-stop, even though their Spectre already had a pretty good start. I don't think maybe it was 100% necessary, or maybe they just felt scared that if they relinquished any map control, ScaryFaceZ would just kind of roll them. I guess they do have one of those teams where the Beastmaster vision in conjunction with just having a global presence with the AA is kind of hard to deal with. But now they have not only given up their advantage, but now ScaryFaceZ have the ball in their court. It just decides, you know, hey, where do we want to fight?
Yeah, no, it really does seem like that, and it's pretty impressive stuff coming from the players. You know, we've got to remember how much of a hard time Luna had in lane, but as they kind of went into the mid game, it seemed like Pub, they had their kind of attentions averted elsewhere because of the aggression that SFC were throwing at them, and Luna's had a lot of space and time to farm up, and it's certainly looking incredibly scary in comparison to the Spectre. And well, top lane, Witch Doctor's going to get caught out there, and with the Fate Bolt to the back, Eknar will be able to find that one for the team. And, I mean, he himself is on a killing spree and sitting on a good amount. How much money was it about? Oh, he's bought some. Okay, he's going for the Glimmer Cape. So, Glimmer Cape now and your Rubik as well here. It's all done and dusted.
This is really problematic for Pub players. Like, the Radiant's timing, he's actually farming a lot faster than I thought he would, given the way the map control has been going. Like, he's almost to his Relic. He's only around 250 away. But still, that still sets you, what, like 1,500–1,600 away total from getting the Radiance. Still a couple more minutes left of even like 500 plus GPM farming that he's going to need to be able to get that item. And I don't know, man. Like, ScaryFaceZ just continue to farm a little bit faster. They're going to have more map control. They're going to abuse the Beastmaster Hawk to look for kills. Everyone on Pub Player right now is off map except for the Spectre. Like, no one is farming anything on their team except for that one hero. So if this Radiance doesn't have a huge impact, I would say that their game is like almost over by that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Swift Ending's going to have to do a lot of heavy carrying here, and I mean, if there was ever a hero to do it on, it is Spectre. Yeah, you could argue the game's still on a bit of a timer. If this game goes on infinitely, the Spectre's always going to be the bigger deal in comparison to the Luna. But I don't know. They've got a long way to go, Pub, in this game if they want to try and get to that point, and it's going to be hard to do that when you've got this pressure coming out from SFC. They will take the tier 2 on the top lane, and I think SFC know that they're in a very good position, and the momentum is certainly favouring their side, so I'm sure they'll keep it going on in the respective lanes, and maybe even just look to take the tier 2 from the bottom.
Tier 2 bottom is really hard. Since the tier 2 top is already down, like, ScaryFaceZ's push potential is much better. They have Necro Book 3, they have Beastmaster Aura, and they have a Luna. Like, they're always going to be able to outpush, outrat, whatever you want to call it. And if the Beastmaster goes back and buys bots and goes for Refresher, you're going to have a mobile one-man ganking machine that can pretty much solo any hero on the side of Pub. Like, even the Queen, having the amount of health that she has, could just die to Ice Blast Beastmaster. And so can the Spectre, so can the Darkseer. Like, no one is really safe from that. And that's why you're seeing Pub players kind of assume this very defensive standpoint. We're going to see a Yules here onto Masakari. I'm not sure if he's dying for that, though. No, it looks like he'll be fine. But you can tell, like, they know how dangerous it is to be out on the map alone. And the less of the map that you have to farm, the less efficient you are, because you have to stick together, or you have to play off the map and farm the woods, or you have to go for a smoke gank, and it's not 100% guaranteed that it's even going to work. So even with the Illuminate D-pushing here, ScaryFaceZ's momentum is just... Their mid-game is always going to be strong, but they were given 2 really good team fights, and now it just seems almost unstoppable.
It really does. If we have a look at the actual graphs themselves, we can see there was that kind of first 14 minutes of the game that the side of Pub had a little bit of control, but now that's totally been countered by the side of SFC, who are now leading by 7,500 net worth advantage. It's not a massive lead, but it's a definitive and it's a long lead. It's a lead that they have held for the last 50% of this game. And Spectre now with the Radiance. 28 minutes in, it of course is not... It's nowhere near record-breaking timing on the Radiance, but...
They need to contest this Roshan. Yeah. This is the point where they can actually turn it really big. Like, they just get Radiance up. Oh, this is really good. This is really good for Pub.
Oh, indeed. Sonic Wave onto 2. There's the Roar in return onto the quad. They will be able to burst her down. And now with the Eclipse and the BKB on Luna fighting through it all. We'll find Massacre on the Darkseer as well. It's a 2-for-1 so far. With buyback from AA. Frozen and Ice Blast. It will fly over Quista. They will be able to bring down Quista. And well, 2-for-1. It's Rubik getting very low, trying to get himself out of here with the Glimmer Cape. Witch Doctor actually gets forced by the Cottle up to the high ground. A little bit of a misplay there from Emperor. It doesn't look like they'll find either the Rubik or the Beastmaster. Spectre's looking for it desperately. He wants to try and find a little bit more action here. Ramses is here, and well, State 21 taking a fair bit of damage. Desolate, it does bloody hurt, and heck not, he's sitting there, but the dagger will find him. They will be able to pick off the Rubik as well. And all in all, a very messy fight there, and Ramsey should be able to get out. Has got the dive, and will dive himself over the river. If we have a look at the fight recap, that's... God, tell you what, these fight recaps, they're not great, are they?
Sometimes
not great.
The kills take too long to actually register, I think, on the kills. So if they can get the Roshan off this, it would be absolutely huge for them. Yeah. But I think the Spectre might just end up dying because he's taking a lot of dot damage right now. Ramses is being the MVP for his team, just stopping them from killing the Roshan. But they have so long to respawn. They don't have any tier 1s. I still think the pub get this, and if they do, the Radiance is already more than paid for itself. Okay. Like, that was perfect timing. Like, getting the Radiance just as they're doing Roshan, they have 2 supports that weren't on full HP. Yeah. You haunt in, and you just clean up. I would even say that Swift Ending didn't play that aggressively as he should have, because he was sitting on the high ground. Like, he haunted, but he didn't actually go in until after the Eclipse ended, and that was like 5 or 10 seconds long, which doesn't seem like a lot, but in Radiance damage, if you're hitting like 4 or 5 people with Radiance that whole time, 5 to 10 seconds, that's an insane amount of DPS that you just didn't deal. So I'd say they could have actually team wiped ScaryFaceZ there if they played it better, but still, I think they're going to be more than happy with that exchange.
I mean, just thanks for that team fight. You know, Spectre's hitting level 16, he's now second on the net worth, only 1,500 behind the Luna. And he's got 3.1k gold in the bank on top of the Radiance. I mean, what does he go for now? Does he just tank up, look for the more damage build in terms of Butterfly or Heart? Or do you think a Diffusal would be a pretty worthy pickup here for the Spectre?
I think Heart is almost necessary this game. Like, if you're going to play against AA, you need something that's going to regen your life after the ult wears off. So the first thing that comes to mind is either Lifesteal or you go for Heart. But he's actually opting for Manta, and I mean, Manta is a good item for damage. Yeah. It's the best damage item, actually, for Spectre, because you get the Desolate on the illusions. So if you isolate a hero out on the map alone, and you haunt to it in Manta, you can just kill it immediately. And that's definitely good. But I think for him, he gets roared here.
Yeah, he does. There's going to be the Ice Blast as well. And this guy, he is dead, and he does have Aegis, does have the backup of the Witch Doctor and the Darkseer. The rest of the team coming in as well. Maybe they can try and turn this one around, but he's going to get telekinesis. Oh, that's a massive wall there. And the Sonic Wave double kill for Quap. The Supernova might get taken down. No, he does manage to get off the Supernova here, this Phoenix. He's got to get himself out, but he's been mana leaked. He's almost certainly going to go down as well as the cast flies through. He's been stunned by the mana leak. He'll fall. Luna pops the BKB. Will try and find some kills in return, doing a heavy amount of damage here with Eclipse. Will she be able to find someone? No one dies. The axes do fly through and kill the Darkseer, but what a fight there for Pub. And that, I mean, well, yeah, that's what they needed, Andy.
That combo play, the Darkseer Queen, we talked about it during the draft, man. That's always the potential for that kind of stuff to happen. And it was very dangerous to initiate on him anyway. Like, no one really was showing on the side of Pub. And then you go on the one hero who is the tankiest and also has an Aegis. I mean, I'm not really sure what they were expecting to happen there, to be honest. But, yeah, they're not going to be too happy with that. They will eat an Ice Blast, so I think they might be forced back. But still, that engagement for an Aegis, that finishes up the Manta almost completely. Yeah. So now Spectre has another item. That means if he wants to go for stats next, like if he wants Scotty, I still think Heart's probably better than Scotty in this game. But either way, Pub have kind of reclaimed a little bit of the dominance that they were having in the early game.
Yeah, they certainly have. And this is now getting to the point where, I mean, we saw that, okay, you know, to give her granted, she was fighting 1 versus 5, but it's going to be hard for them to kill the Spectre. They do need to do what they did there, you know, preferentially when the Spectre doesn't have an Aegis, because it is evident that if they get all their skills down, they can still blow at Swift Ending.
Yeah, and it's not a matter of being able to kill him. Like, if you roar him, he's dead. Yeah. Like, there's no way to save him from roar, because Ice Blast means no heal, and the Necrobook means that you'll have no mana even after the roar wears off. So you're not going to be able to use Manta, you're not going to be able to dagger away, you're just going to die. Which is why I thought that Heart would be the choice, because Heart, it doesn't matter if you don't have mana, because you're just getting more damage dealt through Dispersion, and you're getting more damage dealt through the Radiance Burn. But he opted to go for the build that lets him kill faster if he's given the opportunity. So it's just a player preference thing. Like, either one would have been fine. But I just think that his next item needs to be health, because 1600 HP is not a lot against Ancient Apparition, Beastmaster with a book, Eclipse, and Phoenix.
Yeah, I mean, I guess on the plus side, 34 minutes in, AA is still just sitting on that level 1 ult, but at the same time, he's got 2 components of the Aghanim's picked up. He's halfway to the 3rd, and once he's got that Ice Blast, it's certainly going to make it a lot harder for Pub to try and continue to push up. And they're still yet to take 2 tier 2s, still standing away from the side of SFC. So all in all, it's kind of weighing up to be a very even fight, this one. Overall, in terms of XP difference, it swung back to 2.5k, favouring the side of Pub. Gold-wise as well, we've come back to 5,000. It's been a very much an up and down affair, but I wouldn't put it past the side of SFC to be able to pull the game back under their control. It's just the last couple of team fights, they've been not ideal for SFC. Pub have just kind of outplayed them and come out on top each and every time. And, I mean, the Darkseer for Pub, he's pretty damn rich at the moment. He's got himself the completed Guardian Greaves and Blink Dagger, and he's halfway to the recipe for his BKB as well. So, I mean, the impact of the Darkseer is certainly going to be felt in these team fights, and well, as we've seen already with these big walls that he's been able to come out with.
Yeah, top lane, the synergy was really nice. It's really easy to set up those engagements though when the enemy team is just tunnel visioning your carry. Like, you got a bunch of heroes all grouping up on one place to try to kill the one hero who has the most impact, and then all of a sudden we get like 3-man vacuumed, and now Coddle, he's acquired his own Aghanims, so bottom lane, they're going to be able to pick up the Ancient Apparition. They lose Queen for this?
Oh, the Greaves, my friend. The Greaves aren't enough.
Stolen Queen ulti.
Indeed, but look at this as Swift Ending comes in, tries to find himself a return to State 21, trying to get himself out. There's a Supernova. The stun won't catch the Spectre. He is able to get himself out. I think I'm in a 1-for-1, but indeed a 1-for-1 favouring SFC. And Swift Ending will get summoned by the Cottle towards the mid lane. And it's going to be okay. It looks like Massacre will be able to escape as well on the Darkseer. So they got a little bit aggressive there for the AA, and not necessarily worth it, as they do have to drop the wall, and they do also lose the life of the Queen of Pain.
100% not worth. Not in any dimension is it worth trading your Queen for an Ancient Apparition. Especially when that Queen had just finished up a Hex too, so her overall farm is actually doing very well at this point. And I don't know, man, it's still anyone's game, I feel. It's just a matter of, can the Beastmaster find the right target to lock down? Because if he can, there's very little that Pub players can do to actually stop them from killing that target. Like, the only counterplay they have is either a Witch Doctor Cask or a Vacuum. And that's not really that good of a counterplay. Like, you're looking for the Radiant Spectre to deal the majority of the damage in your team fight with the Queen, and then any other, like, disables that you have are limited. So they're relying more on damage, I think, than they are control at this point, which is fine. It just means that ScaryFaceZ have the upper hand in being able to find their opening and just say, look, we're going to use Beastmaster Hawk for vision, we'll go in, we'll get Aurora on either the Queen or the Spectre, kill it every single time, and then we take the team fight from there.
And on your Phoenix at the moment, 3,500 gold on rounds. We'll pick up the Mystic Staff, and almost certainly looking to build that Sheever's Guard here for the side. And as you said, very even between these two sides still, and a very hard game to call at this point. Spectre with 2.7k coming up, and will probably, as you were saying earlier, work towards something like the Heart of the Tarrasque. Also for the side of Pub, things looking up in terms of the pickups. BKB now completed for Darkseer, and you've also got your Ags on Witch Doctor. And I mean, 37 minutes in, having Aghanims on both your supports, pretty decent.
Yeah, the Witch Doctor Death Ward is always kind of the hidden carry potential of a team. Whenever you're looking at physical damage output, even Pub players' team does not have a lot of physical DPS. So anybody who buys BKB is going to be well served. So the Luna, for example, having that 8-second BKB still, it's going to be great during fights. But a good Death Ward, if it doesn't get interrupted, can be the difference between just getting completely destroyed and winning a team fight very hard. It hits for 120 damage, and it attacks 4 times a second.
Whew. And it bounces.
Yeah.
It's
a very, very good ability if you get it left alone. However, there is a Rubik on the other team. That's the other concern. Is it is a very easy spell to steal. Now, he can't steal the Aghanims version, but he can still take the spell. And he even has Queen ulti still stolen from the last engagement. So that's a 500 peer damage nuke that he's going to have if they fight in the next, I would say, 2 minutes, because that's around how long he has left on the steal itself.
And we saw the side of Pub looking to see if there was an opening to go in on the mid lane, but looks like they're just going to opt to keep it safe back up and defend top. They'd also like to ideally wait for Roshan, and Roshan is going to be up in pretty much less than 30 seconds now. So maybe that will be the point of contention for both sides, as we could almost certainly see a fight kick off there, and arguably both teams with the heroes they've got and the spells that they have at their disposal, they've both got a good shot at taking a Roshan fight.
I think Roshan will probably be favored for pub just because of things like, I mean, they have more AoE first and foremost, but the Spectre I think is the biggest reason why it's so easy for them to fight around Rosh, because they'll always be able to push out lanes while they're contesting Roshan. So think of, for example, having an Atreus Prophet on your team. He pushes out the lanes, he can teleport in at any point. That's kind of what the Spectre does too. So whenever Swift Ending says, my team's fighting around Roshan, you hit R, you find the Ancient Apparition or the Rubik, for example, and you just go in. Now Eknar's a bit harder to kill because he has Glimmer and Force Staff, but if you go on the Ancient Apparition, he's pretty much dead. Like, there's no way he's going to be able to live through a Spectre Haunt if no one else on his team is around to help him out. So I still think that pub player is still favored for the moment. Maybe like 60-40, maybe even less than that, maybe like 45-55. But it is very close.
Okay, Quista now on the Luna picking up a Butterfly, and that is your Sheever's Guard finished on the Phoenix as well. I mean, I guess when you look at the two sides as well, in terms of pushing power, SFZ, they're just on another level.
Yeah.
If they win a fight, you're going to lose towers so quickly on the side of the Dire, and well, they're going to look for a fight here as they are able to find the jump onto Luna, and this is big. This is the hero that they need to take down first. Oh, with the ultimate as well, going through the side of the BKB, they do pick off the Luna. This is a fantastic way for Pub to start the team fight. Rams is trying to do what he can to find a kill in return, will find the Witch Doctor, but now they're just all TPing out. They know that without the Luna, they just cannot fight, and well, Pub, that was the jump that they needed, being able to take down and lock down the Luna before she was able to do anything in this fight. And off the back of that, they might find Roshan for themselves.
She even finished her Butterfly like right as that fight, or maybe like 10-15 seconds before the fight kicked off. She got Butterfly, and she didn't even get to attack.
No.
Like, she popped BKB after the Hex, she used Eclipse and ran, and still got targeted down by the Death Ward. So another Roshan probably going the way of ScaryFaceZ. You do have an Ancient Apparition ulti here, but I don't really think it's going to matter too much. It's not Aghanims, I don't think.
No, it's still.
So it's not going to last too long. They're still playing it a bit cautious, though. Maybe even too cautious. I mean, they have 30 seconds left before that Luna's even going to be alive, and even then, the only tower she can TP to is the tier 2 mid.
No, they've got the Heart and the Spectre now. They're good.
I still think they should have been going on this the entire time. Like, I think backing off in general was just a mistake. Like, they could have killed it. Because what are they going to do? Try to contest 4v5 with no Luna? Like, the Luna has so much net worth comparative to the other heroes on her team. Like, I guess the Beastmaster is moderately farmed, but he doesn't have his refresher yet. He does have Roar and Book available. Maybe they do fight this. Luna's not TPing to tier 2. The Hawk dies. Okay, they're going to back.
Oh, the Roar onto Queen of Pain. Can they bring her down? She will get forced off into the Ice Blast, and now with the bashes from Roshan, Queen of Pain will fall here. Now Screez pot the BKB, just vacuum a couple up to the high ground. There's a Death Ward from the high ground as well, and with the wall now as well, they will find the Lucid Beam onto the Witch Doctors to cancel the channeling. And now Quist is trying to do work here with the Butterfly. This is keeping themselves alive, but the Voodoo Restoration from Witch Doctor is enabling him to turn himself around. Glimmer Cape onto Luna, keeping herself up, nullifying the Radiance damage coming through from Swift Ending, but it doesn't matter as he finds a dagger, and the pure damage will bring her down. Double kill for the Spectre within this fight. They do lose the Witch Doctor to the side of Pub, but again, they'll be happy with that, and they'll be able to go back and finish off Roshan. But first of all, they want to find more. They're looking for Rubik here, but he's going to be fine with the Glimmer Cape. They're not going to be able to find him. And I guess what? Screw Roshan. They want to try and take a bit of a push themselves and at least take a tier 2 in the mid lane here. And Luna's not got buyback and is down for a full minute.
Yeah, they might get some damage on the tier 3. I don't know, man. That engagement was so forced to me. It felt like the Queen, or not the Queen, the Luna just went in so far. Oh, Eknart? Glimmer? Yeah, he should be okay.
Oh, State, he's got a Roar in a few seconds, but he hasn't got a Roar right now. 2 seconds until the Roar. Now he's got the Roar. Could look to try and catch out Spectre. Spectre trying to get himself out. Eknart and State trying to chase it. Eknart takes a fair bit from the Illuminate Blast. He's very, very low. Will be able to survive, and in comes the Roar onto your Spectre. Spectre gets forced off back out. Masquerade pops the BKB, thinking about going back in for the side of Pub. And it's not going to be the case. As well, they do defend their base here, the side of SFC, and looks like Pub, they'll just go back to pushing out the top lane. And again, I don't know if they can take Roshan here. It's very rocky territory.
No, they can't. They can't take Roshan. They don't have Haunt either, so they have to go back. They got baited really hard. They should have just let the Rubik run away and just hit the tower. They could have gotten the tier 3 for sure. They could have potentially even Rax there, I think, because they had everyone up. They were just sitting there. The Queen hits moderately hard. Like, the Spectre still hits for over 200 damage. They have enough to crack the base. I think that was just a really bad call. Like, first off, they don't finish Roshan. They kind of run around the area, get baited into one fight. They kill the Luna twice in a row and don't get Roshan or even a tier 3 tower. when the enemy basically drags you in front of their base. Like ScaryFaceZ ran directly to their tower, died under it, and then they still couldn't get an objective. Like that was not coordinated play at all. Like whoever is calling the shots is like they're either not listening or I don't know. They got a little bit of the murder boner going on.
The murder boner.
Yeah, it's when you just want kills.
An interesting phrase.
Yeah, you don't want anything else. You just want to kill people. You don't want objectives. Just got to get more KDA.
Well, the mid lane just clearing it out, and I mean the Luna as well. Even though she has got the butterfly and doing a fair bit of damage up against the sheep stick of the Quap, and the fact that her BKB is already down to 6 seconds, she's going to be having to be very careful with her positioning if she wants to get out the amount of damage that her team requires in these team fights.
It's just a lot easier for Spectre to deal damage than it is for her, because the Spectre only really has to hit R, and then you're already dealing damage because of, if it, for example, the Rubik doesn't use Glimmer Cape, he can almost just die to an illusion. Like, that's how weak that hero is. A smoke up here from ScaryFaceZ, looking at position here for Roche, or maybe find a pick.
Ooh, the side of Pub, they're hanging around on the high ground by the secret shop. The Hawk flies through, trying to scout them out. Looks like Pub, they know something funny's going on. They'll back themselves away. And the courier will come out of the pit as well. And, well, SFC have been able to smoke into the pit, and they will take down Roshan very quickly. And
oh, wow, this is big. Is ScaryFaceZ
this is easy for ScaryFaceZ. There's going to be
no
contest.
Hit R. Hit R. Alright, it's too late. That's really bad.
Now, did they still fight into this one? Well, it looks like they want to. They're going to pop the Haunt now. In they go. Supernova comes out straight away. The Death Ward has been laid down. But BKB is going to be popped by Luna, and now the side of ScaryFaceZ is trying to take it. They have already lost both their supports, Rubik and AA falling, and even with the Supernova, it's just not enough. The Sheep Stick onto Ramses. They'll bring down the Phoenix as well. 3 heroes down on the side of SFZ. And, well, we're going to see State trying to find more, but Darkseer and Witch Doctor, they're going to be hard targets to bring down. And it looks like Beastmaster's in the middle of no man's land. He'll go down here as well. 4 heroes falling on SFC. They only found the Keeper of the Light. And even though they got Roshan, that was not the fight for them. There's going to be a pause in a DC, but... well, apparently we've got some lag, but I don't know, man. It just seems like, regardless of what SFC do, and obviously even with the Aegis, they just can't take the fights against Pub at this point.
The BKB duration on the Luna is very important here.
Yeah.
Like, not only did I think he preemptively BKB, because normally you don't want to use it until after your Aegis has already been popped. Maybe he just thought that he could kill everyone, but his damage just not really that dangerous. Like, who on the team is really scared of him at this point? Like, the Darkseer is very tanky. The Queen
he's got a Pipe and Guardian Greaves. How are you killing people on your team?
He's got BKB as well. So he can pop BKB for the Eclipse, run away from you. The Queen can blink away. The Cuddle has Force Staff and Aghanim, so he's also fairly tanky. You got a Spectre, obviously with a Heart and a Manta, he's going to be hard to take down. I mean, no one really is that scared of just Eclipse damage or a couple of right clicks at this point. Whereas the Rubik and the AA on ScaryFaceZ, I mean, the Rubik has barely 1,000 health. As soon as that Haunt is popped, he has to, like, Glimmer Cape to reduce damage from being auto-attacked by an illusion, or he loses, like, 3/4 of his health just from that. Like, that's the kind of presence that a Spectre gives you. So the supports on the ScaryFaceZ, I think, are the main issue, is even Phoenix takes a lot of damage. Like, she has Force Staff, or not Force Staff, Yules and Shivas and Midas, but nothing that gives her health. So if she eggs, yeah, she might not die, but as soon as she comes out of egg, if she gets mana leaked at all, it's just, you can't do anything. Like, you just die. So I don't know. I think that Pub are still in a very good position to take this game, and hopefully State reconnects. It seems like both teams are having some server issues.
Yeah, it was both teams with the same.
A little bit of lag.
Yeah, it looks like it's even lag on both sides, but I mean, what a story this is potentially laying out to be. If Pub win this game, they'll get themselves to the finals, and this is a team. I apologize if I'm wrong here, but the players are literally just they've not been in a team. They're not pro players. Which, apart from Massacre, as I say, that rings a bell. I think he used to play on a team called XPC International, which is an amateur team.
Yeah.
But I believe I cast them like literally a year and a half ago when I started casting. But I definitely ring a bell. I wish someone would tell me. Someone tell me. But I'm sure that guy's name rings a bell. But even so, it's impressive stuff. And we've got to remember the fact as well, for the teams to get to this point, they've won a crazy amount of games. You know, they've gone undefeated.
It's like 1,000 teams, right?
From 1,000 teams now down to the final 4.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you respect to both of the teams for getting this far. This is it's some impressive stuff to find yourself this far. And I don't know, regardless, whoever we get through to the qualifying stage, it's going to be so exciting to watch how that team's going to do against the bigger teams. Because, I mean, do you feel it's going to be the case that, the Open Qualifiers, the team gets in and then suddenly it's just another level and, in all 4 qualifiers, they're just not going to take a single game? Do you think there's a massive skill level difference between the teams in the qualifiers and the teams we're seeing now?
Yes.
You think there is?
I do.
Yeah.
I think it's like undisputable that there is a huge skill difference. Like, if the summit is actually going on right now during the qualifiers as well.
Yeah.
If you watch those games, and then you watch these games,
there's a bit of a difference.
There's a huge difference.
There's a huge difference.
It's not little.
But those teams, they're directly invited teams. They're not.
Of course, but I'm just saying,
teams.
If you get to, like, if you go from playing even this to like a tier 2 team, like the tier 2 team would probably reliably take games off of anybody in this qualifier, and it's not trying to like be mean to the teams that are. It's just how it is. Yeah, and it's good that these teams are getting some notoriety and being able to show like you can develop your skills and get to that point, because the journey itself is fun, right?
I mean, when they get in the group and just to be able to say, well, we played against Alliance, even if you just take one game against a team like Alliance, you're gonna feel pretty damn good about that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's
I think
awesome
there's a lot of stuff to be said for teams that are not known who get this far. Like you were mentioning, pub players, like not having really any players that are known. Like that's huge for them, because it gives them the opportunity to be recognized. And maybe the team itself doesn't stay together forever, but maybe some of the players transition into the scene. And then you see new team compositions because they make their way into it. It's much more common in Dota for not a team to make it, but a player. So for example, Nikwa. Like as a player, people know who he is now because he played for Alliance, and 8mother because he played for Alliance.
Yeah.
I'm not like trying to use it as a constant theme, but it's just like
so
those are the first 2 because they were on the show, right? At Dream League.
Yeah,
so that's the first thing that I thought of because we talked to them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of ways to get introduced in the competitive scene, and typically it's not just the whole roster, because to be honest, in Dota, there's not really that much incentive for teams to stay together, except to win tournaments.
No, there really isn't. I mean, if something's not working, it is a team game, and just one little hiccup between a couple of members, you gotta sort it out. There's no sticking together and saying, well, we've got to keep like this. You've got to be adaptable.
Yeah.
And well, I want to kind of talk to the guys who are going to be doing this as well. I don't know if we're going to have the ability to get like a winner's interview at the end of the tournament, but especially if it's one of these teams like Pub. You kind of want to hear what these guys have to say, because they must be they're going to feel on top of the moon if they win this. Whoever wins this, I mean, regardless, if it's SFC, they'll be very happy, because ScaryFaceZ, they're a team that we saw them in Dream League, didn't we?
Yeah.
They qualified through there as well, so they're obviously at a very high level compared to most of these, all the teams that are entering, Dream League qualifiers, they're able to get themselves through undefeated. Now we're seeing them get to the semi-finals of the qualifiers undefeated there. They're a strong team, and it obviously seems like they lack what it takes to push themselves up to, a tier 2 or a tier 1 or maybe even a tier 3. But
yeah, I mean, in Dota, it's hard to justify trying to practice enough to be a tier 1 team.
Yeah,
because the cutoff of how much money you make as a pro player, like consider the top 3 teams at the moment.
Yeah,
and then say, okay, if you place top 3 at TI, that's salary for either a year if you're 3rd place. Well, depending, I guess.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, I guess top 3 is actually more than a year's salary.
You're
obviously, first place is way more than a year.
Yes.
But in the previous ones, before TI4...
You're set for life.
It's like, before TI4, the money was... Only first place was like a huge amount to where you could just like not have to consider doing stuff for a really long time, right?
Yeah, I mean, with the other positions...
But nowadays, it's a lot bigger, but it's still very top-heavy. So if you're not like a tier 1 team, it's almost not worth putting in the effort. Because it's like, okay, well, if we're not a tier 1 team, we don't make enough to live on, and hopefully that changes in the future. But for now, it's all just sheer willpower that brings these teams to that point. And that's the thing that's more interesting for me, is the teams who like the game so much and want to compete so badly that they're willing to sacrifice to get to that point. And that's pretty much what all the tier 1 teams have done.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I guess that's the exciting thing as well. We're actually going to see mid lane Quista. It's going to get caked up. That will save him. And there's going to be another pause, unfortunately, here, as we've still got some lag going on. But I mean, indeed, as you were saying, you could arguably say that the passion for some of these teams at this level is maybe not high, but equal to that of the tier 1s, because they've got the passion to do what they love even though it might not be self-sustainable. They're not making a living out of it. You look at your tier 1 teams, and there are teams, you know, who do turn down tournaments because the money's not good enough. You know, that's the serious truth about it with a lot of tournaments. And obviously these teams, they'll take whatever they can get. You know, they're playing this. There's not a prize for it. Well, there's not a monetary prize. There's the chance to get yourself into the qualifiers, but it's good. And I think at the majors hopefully will encourage more of that. I imagine if they're doing open qualifiers for this, and if it goes well, and obviously, you know, touch wood, everything's been going pretty smoothly with the whole FACEIT coverage, they'll probably do this for the other majors as well. And
I would imagine so. Yeah.
You know, just having one slot or something for each region, it's going to be good for these teams because it doesn't take a lot of commitment to do something like this. I mean, what, it was over the course of 2 days?
Yeah.
You know, sit down and play some Dota with a group of 5 mates, and you know, maybe there'll be a Cinderella story. Maybe TI.
I think it's more likely. You know, it's more likely to see teams pop out in a majors style than it is for TI.
Because TI is, for the big teams, that is what they're all focusing on. They're going to be the best of their best.
And the other problem too is, like, if TI is your only focus and you're a tier 1 team, you at least have other tournaments throughout the year to make money from to sustain your lifestyle. So say like a tier 2 team, for example, might not place like top 3 at any tournaments throughout the year. Now that's a big difference in how much money they actually make. So they can't really commit the amount of time that a tier 1 team does, because when the tier 1 team wants to play in a tournament, like $250,000 plus prize pool is like the standard nowadays. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So they can just go like, oh yeah, we'll place top 5 here, 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 and here. And that's enough money to get us by until the next TI. And then we just spend the rest of the time practicing. So it's not like that for other teams. They can't just rely on that income and just say, okay, yeah, we'll get that. It's like, okay, we actually have no idea if we can beat these teams. We can try really hard, but then if we lose, we've wasted like however many months of the year and we haven't made a dime. So suddenly life is much harder. But yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is the life of a pro player.
Yeah.
And it's not something that we can say, oh, it's easy for the tier 1s, because, you know, years ago that's where they started off, and arguably they started in situations that were a lot
way worse than it is now. It was way worse.
You were literally committing your life and limb to playing a game that would make you $500 at the biggest tournament. Yeah. The passion is certainly there from the tier 1s, and we can't take that away from the players who have got to where they are now. It's just
everybody loves an underdog story, Owen. That's the thing.
Yes, that is the thing.
It's like nowadays the teams that don't make 6 figures a year are the Cinderella stories.
Yeah. That's Dota 2, ladies and gentlemen. And we are going to have a wait. It looks like we're having some issues, but I believe the admin was saying at this point we wait. There's not much of a time restriction here for the teams, because these games are pretty important, and it really would suck to get this far and just, you know, something crappy to happen and they'd be like, oh, your time's up. You know what I mean? It's, you know, we're going to have to hang on here. We've just got a DC, and to be fair, it's on the opposite side to, well, the side that had the first DC, so they're both waiting in turn, and I think both teams will be happy to wait here, in just the case of fairness between the sides. But yeah, it's looking pretty good for Pup, this game.
Yeah, I think they'll probably end up maybe not racks, but they'll get some damage out. I think the Luna's pretty low at the moment, and if they continue sieging, shouldn't be too hard. Let's see. Yeah, the Spectre even has like 5,500 gold on top of the Heart and the Mantis style, so she could go Butterfly if she wants. Definitely be, I think, maybe 1 lane. And if that happens, I'm not even sure if ScaryFaceZ can fight anymore. That's the problem. Like, I know we're not in game right now, but if you could see in game, you would see that the Rubik and the Ancient Apparition are both bottom in the net worth. And what that basically means is that the Spectre is going to crap on them every single fight. I mean, there's no real getting around that anymore, and that's kind of the biggest issue that you're going to have is there's no way that these supports can stand in a team fight if Haunt is up. It's like, Haunt, we have to run. Like, we have to run or we're dead. There's no in between. Even the Ancient Apparition, a hero who doesn't necessarily have to be around fights, is going to take so much damage that he's like, okay, well, I have to go base now. I don't really have a choice in the matter anymore. So it's now down to just, can ScaryFaceZ get their coordination to a point where they can actually win a fight? Like, they need to blow somebody up. Like, they need to either, like, completely mana drain the Spectre and kill her, they need to kill the Queen, or they need to kill, like, maybe even the Darkseer. But all those heroes are very, very tanky.
I mean, the problem is as well at this point, you know, when they're looking for the high ground push, I mean, yeah, they don't have the Haunt available on the Spectre, but when they've got the Haunt, I mean, as SFC, you can jump in and commit everything to killing that Spectre, but you just buy back and Haunt straight back in, and then you've thrown everything down, and you're suddenly dying as a team.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's a hard fight for SFC at this point.
It was kind of disappointing because they had such a nice comeback during the mid game, and their
They
team
really did, yeah.
their team is so good mid game. Like Phoenix, Luna, Beastmaster, AA. Like Rubik is probably the most lackluster, I think, of their heroes, but he still has some pretty good stuff to steal, and he even actually played well, being able to take the Queen's ulti and get a really nice pick off on bottom lane, and then have it for I think one more team fight after that. But his biggest benefit right now is that he has null field. Like that's what he's bringing. Like they have null field and they need a pipe desperately to be able to fight against the Spectre damage and just the Queen. But is anyone even making a pipe right now? I don't think they have any carriers for it. I would guess the Phoenix would be the only person who's even in reach of being able to buy
got
that.
a fair bit.
But both supports actually have Glimmer Capes, so maybe it's not as bad as I'm making it out to be. Maybe the supports actually don't die that easily. But
Well, I'll tell you what we can do during this. Let's have a look at the result of the other semi-final. It looks like it's still going on at the moment.
how long is
Oh wait,
the game?
hang on, that's the game we're in.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. What was the other game? Where is it? It was... Is it not there?
If it was only 2 games, then it must have been a 2-0, right?
I can't see. It's not been listed, has it, on recent games?
Oh yeah, Yellow Submarine versus ATM.
Am I being blind?
No, I don't see
No.
it either, because the Yellow Submarine thing is really easy to spot. It's actually a yellow submarine, and it just says like yes or something on
Yeah,
it.
it's not there. So that must mean that... I don't know what that means. But I imagine the series is over, because this one's been going on for quite a while. I mean, they were... Actually, they could have just been in the first game, in fact, when we watched the other side.
Yeah.
Still got to pause. Apparently the player is back online, so we should be good to continue in a couple of minutes. So thank you for bearing with us here.
It is hot in here.
It is very hot.
The lights are so
A,
bright.
it's a basement. B, there are massive lights glaring at us, and I don't know, there's these computers that are very hot.
And noisy.
It is incredibly warm now. Incredibly warm.
We're doing our best.
We are doing our best indeed. Oh, we're ready. We're ready. He's back.
We got everyone back in game.
Good.
All right.
Hit the game.
Good game, well
There we
played.
go, nice. We're back in, and here's the push. So, Twister getting very little. I mean, this is your Luna. Hang on, Luna. Luna, you need to be careful here, sir.
Is he not here?
Oh, he's got the Aegis. He's got the Aegis. Okay, so he's going to burn the Aegis very quickly. And they lose the range racks here. Actually gets 4-star 4, pops the BKB, but BKB indeed popped by Darkseer as well. They throw down the Death Wall, making it hard to go in. Eknart comes in with a cast. Already taken half his health as damage. Looking for a potential supernova there with the Yules onto the Witch Doctor. They don't have the Horn for 12 seconds on the side of Pub. It looks like they're going to be able to get the range racks there and get themselves out. And also take the Aegis away from Luna, and SFC aren't really able to do anything with that.
Yeah, really nice trade. I mean, actually, it wasn't even a trade because ScaryFaceZ didn't get anything. So, obviously great. I think Spectre probably just finishes up Butterfly. They smoke Fake back here.
Indeed, the Fake back into the base with... Let's see. Can they find this jump?
Oh, they're going to know. The Hawk's going to die, and they're going to spot it out. Or maybe not.
I'm going to find the sheep stick onto Rubik, and Rubik's going to die. Oh! That vacuum Sonic Wave Draskyl! That was...
disaster!
That was not ideal for SFZ. I mean, woo! That's why you get a Blink Dagger on your old Darkseer. You get those kind of initiations, and you're good to go. I mean, the Darkseer Queen of Pain synergy has been perfect between these two players. I mean, Massacre and Paint, yeah, they're on the same board. It's on the same page.
Yeah, it was definitely impressive. I think they did that as top lane as well when they were fighting. And they just had that really, really big Wombo combo. And that's another thing, like, the Ancient Apparition and the Rubik were the first 2 to die. Big surprise. The heroes just are way, way too squishy. And they're going to get the middle racks here. I don't think they get anything else. They probably stick around, though. Wait for the next engagement. I think the BKB's up on Luna. Yep, and he has Eclipse. He also has buyback. Let's see who else has buyback. Alright, so only Luna on the side of ScaryFaceZ has buyout at the moment. 4 of the 5 members of Pub also have buyout. But I don't think anyone has bots. But they do have a Coddle, which means that if they're pushing and the Coddle's not the one who dies, they can just drag him back in.
It does indeed, and Pub indeed looking to back off and going to push in. Actually, Butterfly out on the Spectre. He's got buyback as well.
2,200 gold already.
This is the point where the Spectre is. It's how do you win against this?
He's a monster. You can't kill him. Like, the butterfly is kind of the nail on the coffin, I feel. They don't have any hero who even naturally buys MKB. Like, Luna does not want to buy MKB. You want to buy, like, Satanic, Butterfly, BKB, Manta. Like, you want a lot of stat items, and you want survivability. You don't want a straight-up damage item because you don't need it. Like, you just need to be able to survive. But against a Spectre who has evasion, like, he is much tankier than the Luna at this point. Luna's going to have another item in progression to even stand there and be able to hit, and I think Satanic is going to be his choice.
I mean, yeah, the fact that obviously with the mischance as well from the Radiance, you know, it stacks up to an effective, yeah, do the maths here, a 52% evasion basically, because it obviously is acting separately as a mischance debuff with your own personal evasion. You're not hitting this guy.
It's a really big buff to late game Spectre as well,
yeah.
like you mentioned. Like the additional mischance on top of the butterfly already. It's insane. Like, I've actually played against Naga Siren, also a buff to Naga, but it is super annoying. Like, if you don't have MKB, you pretty much cannot kill the hero with physical damage. Like, it's just way too much effective health.
Ice Blast will come in. We'll land onto the quad. There's going to be the Raw onto the Spectre, but look, I mean, Eclipse has hit him a fair few times. They do find the Raw as well. They're bringing him low, but the Voodoo Restoration, the Greaves, even the Glimmer Cave, he's just not dying. He's got to go back in. There's your vacuum interwall. They just smell. I don't even know what's going on there. It's a mess, Andy. But
vacuum wall, man.
Oh,
Masakari, what a player, dude.
Wow.
Holy cow.
That was some impressive stuff from Pub. We've got to give it to them. I mean, SFC, they didn't play bad, but Pub, they just played pretty damn well there. The team play was incredibly apparent.
Yeah, their combo was too hard to deal with. Like, when they haunt, it creates a lot of chaos in the fight. Like, a lot of people want to start moving around. Oftentimes when you haunt, people have to make split decisions. Like, okay, we're either going or we're not. So when you go, everyone kind of groups up a little bit together. Like, you have a lot of ranged heroes, but the Luna has to be pretty close in the fight. The Beastmaster also has to be fairly close. The A is the only one who is ever really far away, and the Phoenix has to dive into the team fight to be able to get a good supernova. Yeah. So at the end of it, it's like, okay, well, we just vacuum, and then your entire team is on top of each other in a wall, and we have a Queen of Pain and a Spectre with the Haunt out. So, I don't know. I really liked the draft of Pub players in this game, and I thought that ScaryFaceZ mid-game was definitely... It had more potential, but they weren't able to crack high ground, and they lost, I think, 2 Roshans back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I think those Roshans were very important for ScaryFaceZ to be able to take. Like, having an extra Aegis, and the first time when Spectre finished that Radiance and Haunted, and they stopped the Roshan, that was the point in the game where it's like, okay, now all of a sudden Pub players just have a ton of momentum because they got a couple of kills. They prevented ScaryFaceZ from getting that very important Roshan that they needed to end the game, and from then on out, it was just... They had no way of coming back. Like, it was just too hard. Their supports were too much of a liability, I think. Like, not in their play, but as the heroes that they were. Like, they couldn't function against the Farm Spectre team.
Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for the first semi-final. SFC will be knocked out. Yeah, kudos to them, of course, for getting to this stage of the qualifiers, but it's going to be Pub moving on to the final. So they are indeed your first finalist. Not too sure who the other finalist is yet. Apologies. We do not know these. Have we got those? Does it say on Skype or anything? Do we know who won the other one?
What is? There's a bunch of.
Third game of the other one.
Wait, there's a game 3.
What time is it?
It is 9:09, I think.
Should we? Are we going into that one?
I don't know.
Is it?
Are we supposed to?
Are we supposed to? Are we casting it? Are we getting Sheever and Shane in for this and we'll come back for the final? Or what's the plan?
We can ask them. We can take a break and then see what happens. But there's not even any room for commentators in this game.
Oh, is there not? Oh.
I mean, unless... Wait, are they taking up 2 slots?
Gee, yes they are. The Russians. Taking up 2 slots? Greedy
they definitely are.
Greedy. Alright, what's the pass? You got the pass?
It's the same as last time, just 2 on the end.
Yeah, we overtake the Russian channel. It's back to ours. Alright, so should we see if the others want to do this one, or do you want to do this one as well? Or?
Yeah, we can take a break and see if they want to. If not, we can just do it. It's fine.
Right, well, there is a third game of the other semi-finals. We obviously were not watching the first 2 games as we were watching our semi-finals. But it's still undecided who is going to be the final finalist. It's ATM versus Yellow Submarine. This is the deciding game. And yeah, me and Andy are going to give it a break. I believe we're going to see if Sheever and Shane want to do this final match. And then we'll be back for the final best of 3. Which will indeed be between the winner of this and Pub. Well, guys, we'll send you over to some... Johnny will press a button. Is Johnny even there? Johnny! Yeah, do you want to put something on the screen? Yeah. Cheers, Johnny. We'll see you guys later.